If Terence Crawford moves up to fight Canelo, it's going to be a worse fight than fucking Charlo running around Canelo by murder against Crawford. That shit wouldn't happen. They have weight classes for
Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are gearing up for a highly anticipated showdown around Cinco de Mayo weekend. However, for Crawford, the challenge extends beyond just facing his formidable Mexican opponent. He also has to contend with the loud voices of his critics. While Crawford is no stranger to doubt, this time, the skepticism is stronger than ever, and that includes the
Canelo. They want to see it.
Crawford cares about his life, and with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo? Fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo. What do that do for Canelo?
The incredible controversy surrounding the conclusion of the fight has only intensified the focus and intention on Crawford, who now faces a formidable Mexican fortress in Canelo. Crawford is no stranger to doubt, but this time, the skepticism is stronger than ever. Many boxing professionals are urging him not to jeopardize his undefeated record, warning that stepping into the ring for this fight could result in his first career loss.
Any other fights to make that's realistic, it makes sense, and less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our way.
Roy Jones, one of the most dominant boxers of his era, remains deeply involved in the careers of today's rising stars. Among them, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez shine as two of the best pound-for-pound fighters of this generation. The prospect of a potential clash between these two has sparked excitement and captured the imagination of boxing fans around the globe. And it seems that Roy Jones is on his way to playing a pivotal role in making it happen.
Who time to take over and start beating the guys around him? He's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy.
Terence Crawford, a 4-division world champion, has shown interest in taking on Canelo Alvarez, the reigning super middleweight king. However, the significant weight difference between the two presents a major challenge for the American fighter.
Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble.
In an interview with Mill City Boxing, Roy Jones Jr. shared his thoughts on the hypothetical clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. While he praised Crawford's exceptional talent and skills, the legendary boxer leaned toward Canelo as the favorite. "I like Terence, but I'm going to lean toward Canelo early because of his size," Jones said. However, if Canelo lets Terence get into the fight, Crawford is going to be a problem. If Crawford can handle the size difference, he'll beat him. Jones also highlighted the importance of Canelo's punching power, emphasizing it as a decisive factor in the outcome of the fight. Usually, in a fight, you just have to trust the person in the ring. "You don't have time to lose, so I chose Canelo," Jones explained. However, if he lets Crawford get into the fight, Crawford could win. "That's why I like Canelo to start strong right off the bat."
If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, "Okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done."
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets the win.
"That's the thing," Jones Jr. explained. "We won't know until we see Terence get hit because we haven't seen him take that kind of power. That's the deciding factor. If you can disrupt Bud's fight plan by hurting him, you've got a chance to beat him. But if you can't hurt him, you can't change his plan, and you're in trouble." This analysis highlights Crawford's need to neutralize Canelo's renowned power. If Crawford can rely on his technical boxing skills and effectively avoid Canelo's devastating punches, he could potentially pull off a historic upset. While the possibility of a Canelo vs Crawford fight remains a dream scenario for fans, Canelo Alvarez is currently focused on preparing for his next opponent.
Big for Crawford, I'm not sure about that because Crawford does have punching power and shock, but I think Canelo's a little big. He showed tonight that he's pretty big, so I probably would rather see.
International Boxing Federation interim champion William Skull has recently been mentioned as a potential opponent for Canelo. However, this wasn't always the focus for Roy Jones Jr. The Hall of Famer, now a promoter, trainer, and respected analyst, previously shared scenarios where he believed both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez could defeat Canelo Alvarez before revising his stance. Speaking about David Benavidez, Jones acknowledged the complexity of the matchup. "It's a tough fight to call because Benavidez throws a lot of punches," Jones said in an interview with boxingscene.com. "Sometimes, power can intervene and change the situation."
Charlo fight Crawford first, and then see how that goes. If he does good against Charlo with the weight, then let's see him come up and fight Canelo. Yes, but not right now.
The problem is whether Canelo is willing to take the risk, Jones remarked. I don't think he will right now because I don't believe he feels he has a reason to. If he can't hurt Benavidez early in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I don't see him winning that fight. David Benavidez, a 2-time 168-pound titleist, has been pushing for a showdown with Álvarez for over 2 years. At the same time, Terence Crawford, formerly recognized as the best welterweight in the world, has expressed his willingness to move up 2 weight classes for a chance to face the Mexican star. However, Álvarez remains skeptical about the significance of a victory over Crawford, claiming it would add little to his legacy. Despite this, many believe Crawford has a genuine shot at pulling off the upset.
I want to see Crawford come up with some weight classes and show he can be dominant at 54. You understand me?
That fight was done, Crawford and
Crawford won a pound best fighter.
If anyone can pull it off, it's Crawford, Jones said. You can't tell him no. I was the kind of guy who, if someone claimed they were better than me and I could get close to their weight, here I come. I gave John Ruiz 33 pounds when I won the heavyweight title in 2003. I didn't care. I wanted to prove I was pound for pound the best and do something historic that had never been done. That's probably how Bud feels right now. He wants to achieve something historic to cement his legacy in boxing. Who wouldn't want to see the pound for pound best from yesterday face the pound for pound best of today? It's a mega fight. If Bud puts on the muscle and the weight, how can you doubt him? One thing is certain, he's not just going out there to collect a paycheck. He'll step into that ring to win, because that's who Bud is. If he carries the weight well, it'll be a great fight. He can box like Floyd Mayweather, but he can also fight. He hits without getting hit. If he can handle the power at that weight, there's a good chance he wins the fight.
We so much alike in our mentality. Like soon as I see this dude, he come in the room or I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball.
Jones, a 4-division title holder who frequently fluctuated in weight during the latter half of his career, believes Canelo Álvarez should focus on staying at super middleweight. It's definitely best for Álvarez to stay at 168, Jones said. Before long, though, I didn't understand why he went up to 175 to fight Dmitry Bivol in the first place. He had already beaten Sergey Kovalev, who was at the end of his career. Bivol, on the other hand, is in his prime. They are 2 completely different animals. He got Kovalev at the right time. Canelo should go back down and dominate his division. Don't try to take on another challenge like that, cause lightning isn't going to strike twice. Meanwhile, former 2-time world champion Andre Ward has also shared his thoughts on the potential super fight between Saul, Canelo, Álvarez and Terence Crawford, adding more intrigue to the ongoing discussions.
Wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you gotta really hurt that dude.
Terence "Bud" Crawford has had his sights set on Canelo Álvarez ever since delivering a career-defining performance against welterweight rival Errol Spence Jr. last year. While Canelo initially dismissed the idea of the fight, he recently revealed that he would consider defending his super middleweight titles against the naturally smaller Crawford if the financial incentive was compelling enough. Speaking on the All the Smoke podcast, former undefeated champion Andre Ward, who retired with a flawless 32-0 record, shared his thoughts on the most intriguing matchups in boxing. I want to see Canelo fight either Terence Crawford or David Benavidez, Ward said. You've got 2 options, you can face someone in your weight class, or you can take on the smaller guy, Terence Crawford.
Canelo. Like I said, I've been saying this, I don't think size win fights, I think skills do. So. Yeah, I think like being a southpaw with good movement and sharp boxing, it'd be hard for Canelo with that high guard to walk him down and load up on them big hooks. I think Bud would be Canelo.
When it comes to the potential Crawford-Canelo clash, Andre Ward says his money is on the fighter who last competed 3 weight classes lower. I'm not betting against Terence right now, against anybody, Ward stated. We're talking about the most skilled fighters in the game today, and Crawford is someone you can bet the house on. He's not just skillful, his heart and mindset set him apart. Me and him are so much alike in our mentality. There aren't many guys like that out there right now. A lot of guys talk the talk, but until you get in that real fight, we don't know what you truly have. I'm not saying he's an easy fight, but in a 50-50th matchup, that's when we see who you really are.
Who knows? That smile's telling me something else, bro. I think it might be on the line, no? I'm just saying, man. We can't say it's not gonna happen. We can't say that it is.
He's different. He's a dog. That's the kind of stuff that gets me out of my seat, says Shakur Stevenson, who refers to Terence Crawford as his big brother. Stevenson believes Crawford would defeat Canelo Alvarez if they ever met in the ring, despite the significant 14-pound weight disadvantage Crawford would face against the Mexican superstar. Unlike Jamal Charlo, Canelo has expressed no interest in facing Crawford, citing the size difference as a major factor. However, Stevenson doesn't see the weight as an issue for Crawford, believing that skills, not size, ultimately win fights. The former two-weight world champion is confident that Crawford's southpaw stance, excellent movement, and solid fundamentals give him the winning formula to trouble Canelo and secure a victory.
The way Crawford is doing it is because he knows it's the biggest payday in his life, and he'll never, maybe what he could get against Canelo, he's never made in all his fights combined.
During an interview with IFL TV, Shakur Stevenson shared his thoughts on Terence Crawford's next move in boxing. Terence Crawford is running things right now, Stevenson said. When asked who Crawford should face next, Stevenson expressed his desire to see him fight Jamal Charlo, although Charlo is already scheduled to face Canelo Alvarez. Despite Charlo's upcoming bout, Stevenson believes Crawford could beat Canelo. Being a southpaw with great movement and solid boxing skills, it would be tough for Canelo to walk him down and land his powerful hooks, Stevenson explained. I wish Charlo wasn't fighting Canelo, but it is what it is. I truly think Bud could beat Canelo, and I'd love to see it. For me, size doesn't win fights, skills do.
Of course, why would he call up Benavidez when he's calling out Canelo knowing that he's going to make double the money?
Because he wants to fight at 68, that's why.
So that's why.
The potential matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is one of the most anticipated fights in boxing today, and with Saudi Arabia's growing involvement in the sport, it appears more achievable than ever. Trainer Robert Garcia shared his thoughts on the fight, acknowledging that Canelo holds an advantage over Crawford. He also addressed Crawford's situation, suggesting that if the Omaha boxer doesn't secure a fight against Canelo soon, he may be inclined to retire. However, Garcia emphasized that Canelo is already highly motivated, and if Crawford's frustration doesn't push him into the ring soon, Canelo's drive may ultimately be the deciding factor.
You know why? He wants to make the biggest fucking payday.
Does he have a chance in the fight?
Everybody has a chance, but I think he'll put up some good rounds. I think he loses to Canelo, but he'll put up good rounds, better than Charlo did.
For Robert Garcia, Crawford no longer needs to seek another fight. Given his outstanding career and unbeaten record, he has nothing left to prove. He's already accomplished it, Garcia explained. I don't see him fighting just to satisfy fans who say he needs to face this or that opponent.
Crawford is a smart man, Garcia said in an interview with Fight Hype. He's already accomplished everything he set out to do. He's achieved a lot and doesn't need to challenge himself any further. He doesn't have anything left to prove. Garcia went on to mention that he's spoken with Crawford personally and believes the boxer wants the big fight against Canelo. If that doesn't materialize, Garcia speculated that Crawford might consider retirement. However, he noted that Crawford still has plenty of opportunities in the junior middleweight division if he chooses to pursue them. One potential challenge could be WBC and WBO champion Sebastian Fundora. Other possible opponents include IBF champion Bakram Murtazaliev, Jamel Charlo, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Sergey Bohacek, and Xander Zayas.
Crawford, Canelo.
He'll fight. He'll probably get stopped and get knocked out, but he'll put up some good rounds. Yeah, but he'll put.
For Robert Garcia, Crawford no longer needs to pursue another fight given his exceptional career and undefeated record. He has nothing left to prove, he's already accomplished everything, Garcia explained. I don't see him fighting just to satisfy fans who demand he faces this or that opponent. Garcia believes that if money were the primary motivator, Crawford wouldn't need to fight again, as he's already secured his financial future through smart investments. The only reason Crawford would return to the ring, according to Garcia, is for a chance at Canelo, to cap off his career on a high note. He's going to look for that big fight and enjoy his life, Garcia added. He's a very smart man, he's invested his money wisely and doesn't need to fight again. But if the Canelo fight comes, he'll take it. Otherwise, he might never fight again.
One of the smartest guys that I've ever seen in the ring, right up there with Floyd Mayweather. So yeah, I would pick Terence Crawford to beat a Canelo Álvarez, even at 168.
If the fight against the Guadalajara boxer happens, Robert Garcia believes Crawford could compete with Canelo for several rounds. Maybe not enough to win, but enough to earn his respect and that of the public. Garcia explained, "I think Crawford could hold his own for a few good rounds. The first 6 to 8 rounds would be very competitive. Crawford has the skills, great speed, and solid power to earn Canelo's respect and show him that same respect." However, Garcia believes that eventually, Canelo's size and strength will take over. Still, he added, those first 6 rounds would make for a very entertaining fight.
Why I would pick Terence Crawford, but it's part of the secret, is the reason why I'm picking him to win the fight. So,
is it like a skill set? Is it like a preparation thing, or?
Nope, I'm not.
If Crawford decided to prove himself against David Benavidez or David Morrell, you'd feel confident that he's not just showing up for the payday against Canelo without aiming to win, Bradley explained. But since Crawford has no intention of fighting anyone at 168 before facing Canelo, you can only conclude this is about money and nothing else. Charlo was never a top pound-for-pound guy, but Crawford's skill set is what sets him apart. He's a competitor, and he's been chasing Canelo. He wants to fight him, and I truly believe he'll do well against Canelo. Ring board on it.
Just gonna put it like this. If the fight was to happen, you will see. Yeah.
Because a lot of people think Terence can compete.
The potential fight between Saul Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford still feels more like a dream than a reality. A major hurdle is more than just agreeing on a multi-million-dollar purse. Even if the offer is the best of Canelo's career, he might not be flexible enough to accept it. However, former WBO and WBC light welterweight champion Tim Bradley doesn't believe external factors can halt Crawford's momentum, especially with all the extra chatter surrounding UFC weight and length. Instead, Bradley believes that only Crawford himself has the power to end his dominant reign in the sport.
Canelo, because he's been hit by bigger guys, he's not gonna, I don't want to say show him respect, but he's going to be able to go, okay, I could walk through this. I could take a little risk and set up my traps, cut the ring off, dig to the body, and wear Terence down over the rounds.
I'm just going to tell you like this.
Tim Bradley believes the only person who can beat Terence Crawford at this point is Crawford himself. In a recent interview with Fight Hype, Bradley said, "I think the only person who can beat Crawford is himself." While he encourages others to push themselves in the gym, Crawford is already seeking the next challenge. Canelo may be the champion and deserving of respect, but when it comes to skill, Bradley firmly backs Crawford. Skill for skill, Crawford all day, he said. Bradley acknowledges that while he'd be nervous if the two fought, due to Canelo's power, he believes Crawford's athleticism, defense, and ability to move around the ring would give him the edge. As long as Crawford uses his legs, his athleticism, and his defense to stay out of the way, he should be able to beat Canelo, Bradley said. Interestingly, he thinks Crawford could outbox Canelo in a similar way Floyd Mayweather Jr. did back in 2013 when he defeated the Mexican star at 22 years old in a catchweight bout.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds.